guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. It is hot as balls in Eastern Washington, and I do not have central air or anything to cool this room off really, so don't mind me if I'm pulling out this hand fan from the Dollar Tree quite a bit. But I just recently had my birthday. It was June 23rd. I took a little content break to just let myself be an old lady vegetable, but I got some fun things for my birthday, so I wanted to play with those on camera and just talk about aging, because I feel like that's something that's not talked about enough. And if you'd like to hang out with me while I play with makeup and have a little chat, then just keep watching. Start with just a skin tint. This is the Sephora Reveal the Real in 130N Fair, and I just heavily moisturized my face, so I'm gonna skip a primer and just go in with a sponge. And as I mentioned in the intro, my birthday was just on June 23rd. I turned 36, which feels crazy to me because I do not feel like a grown-up at all. Like, I feel like in so many situations I need an adultier adult to help me do things. I especially feel like it's like a millennial thing to feel like extreme imposter syndrome when it comes to feeling like a grown-up and feeling like a full adult, because our generation has been kind of held back in so many ways. I'm not wearing glasses or contacts right now, so forgive me if I don't blend everything properly. I think that looks good. I'm gonna go in with I'm gonna go in with my Dominique Cosmetics concealer. And I'm curious, I know most of my viewers are within my age bracket. Do you feel like a grown-up? Do you feel like you know what the heck you're doing? Or do you look for someone around you that knows what the fuck they're doing more than you do when it comes to doing adult stuff? Because, yeah, I'm always feeling like when I have to go to like the DOL or just anything with like, it's definitely an adult task and I should feel comfortable and confident doing it, I feel so insecure and like I'm gonna do everything wrong and have to go back 10 times because I forgot to bring a piece of mail with my address or whatever it may be. I definitely always have felt that way though, even as a child, because when I was young, I was really petite for my age. Like when I was in 3rd grade, I moved to a new town and I was on the playground for one of the first times, and this is the Merit bronze stick in clay, by the way. When I was on the playground for one of the first times, some kids came up to me and told me I was on the wrong playground because the playgrounds at the school were separated by like grade level. So there was like a kindergarten, like younger kids area, like the middle grades, and then the older grades, like they had 3 different playgrounds. And so I was 8 years old, I was in the 3rd grade, and these kids came up to me and were like telling me I was lost and I needed to go back to kindergarten and what the heck was I doing in the 3rd grade playground. They didn't think I was a new kid that they didn't know. They thought that I was actually just lost and in the wrong place. And that happened to me in middle school too with an adult. I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and this adult who was an employee at the school saw me walking in the halls. I was on my way to class. I had like my textbooks and stuff, and this adult told me go back to the elementary school, you're in the wrong building. And she genuinely thought that. She wasn't trying to bully me. And I had to show her, like, this is my textbook for my English class or whatever. Like, I belong in Mrs. So-and-so's class. I'm in the right building. I just look like I'm like 10 years old because I was really short and small, and I've always been really short. Right now, I'm, depending on which doctor's records you reference, I'm 5'1 3/4" or 5'2". So I just never like had a growth spurt. I always slowly grew and was like one of the shortest people in class. So my point is, I've always felt like I didn't belong in the setting that I was in, and that I wasn't grown up enough for wherever I was at the time. And even at 36, that's still so true. God, it's so fucking hot. And I'm just curious if you're a fellow like millennial who struggles to feel grown up, did you always feel like you weren't grown up enough for where you were at in life? Or did that just start to happen in adulthood? I'm gonna go into my Stila powder for under the eyes. I'm gonna take the NARS Laguna bronzer because I pulled it for my Shop My Stash for June, and it's, I think, June 29th when I'm filming this, and I haven't used this yet, so I want to use it today. I'm just going in over top of the Merit. Gosh, I really do like the Laguna bronzer. One thing that's crazy to me, like every year that I get older and every digit that gets added to my age, it's crazy to me that I'm still here. I grew up in a very traumatizing setting, and I first wanted and attempted to unalive myself at 8 years old, and I hospitalized myself a couple of times as an adult for attempts, and I just never expected to live this long, to be here at this grand old age of 36. Like, it's hard to plan for the future when you can't even imagine that you will have a future because your brain is like so messed up. But oh yeah, that's pretty. I think I want to be a little like more heavily bronzed though. Let's just get a little more. It's weird to me that people are like, oh no, I'm turning this age, and they're like saying like I'm turning 21 for the 9th time or whatever, and they're like pretending that they're not getting older, because to me getting older is like something that's so cool and that I thought I would never get to be able to do. Not because I would be like terminally ill, although goodness knows I sure wished I would be terminally ill, because then I wouldn't have to do anything about it myself. Sorry. That was maybe not funny, but you gotta laugh at things, you know. Let's go in with my Project Pan blush. It's just a nudie pink color, and it's one of those putty formulas, so it's almost creamy, and I feel like it gives a really like, I look really hot, like it's a natural flush color for me, not like I look sexy hot, but like this is the color that my cheeks turn when I'm like getting warm. And so it's a really good summer color and a nice base to layer brighter colors on top of, because it does look so natural to my skin tone. And I honestly, I can't believe it still doesn't even look like I have a dip in here. I'm not probably gonna do an update until like the end of July or something, but yeah, it's still like pretty flat. This blush is lasting forever. So I'm gonna layer all 3 of these Ofra blushes. I'm gonna just blend them together. Just swirl. Just give myself a nice pop of vibrant color more towards the back of my cheeks. And I think for highlighter, I want to go into this one. I don't remember if it's Rodeo Drive or if it's the one that's a shade lighter than it that's in the same, because like they have like one lighter Rodeo Drive and then like deeper than that, and I don't know which one it is, but it's like a goldy kind of neutral, like it's not too warm highlight, and I'm just blending it over my whole cheek, making that whole cheek glowy down my nose. I love to glow. And then I'm gonna take a highlighter brush and go in with a more concentrated amount right on the cheekbones to really give that beam on the nose. And then I'm gonna drench myself in setting spray. And then after I set, I like to go over with my sponge and sort of pat everything in. And I think it makes it look really natural. Loving you is a Game Boy. Cat's Eye's new songs like Game Boy, MIA, I cannot get those out of my head and I cannot stop listening to them. Cat's Eye is just such a great girl group. I feel like ever since my childhood, like we have struggled to have like really iconic girl groups here in the US. Like, I don't know, I feel like once like Britney and Christina came along, girl groups started to go out of style. And even though there was like Dream and several girl groups in the early 2000s, they didn't blow up like they did in the 90s. And even in like the later 2000s, I think there was one like called Fifth Harmony. I don't think they like blew up too much. I barely know that they existed. But I feel like Cat's Eye is like bringing back that girl group nostalgia for me, and I am loving it. I just primed with my MAC paint pot in Soft Ochre. I'm so excited for Midsummer. Singe Beauty had a 20% off sale, so I splurged for my birthday and got the new Agate Temptation palette. It is so gorgeous, and I've been craving to do something bright green on my eyes. Oh, these colors look so yummy, but I kind of also want to do like a green and red. I don't know, man. We'll see where this goes, but that's the palette I'm using today. Let's take a Singe brush, and I'm gonna go in with the bright ass green Banded and put that in the inner crease area. Anyway, so let's talk about aging. So yeah, aging is just like a really cool thing, but also a really weird thing for me because one, I don't feel like a grown-up. Like I don't feel like I belong in all the places the other people in like their mid-30s belong. I feel like I should be with the 20-year-olds still figuring shit out because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But you know, does anyone ever? Let me know if you feel like you know what you're doing and how you figured it out. I would love to know. But God, that is so fucking yummy. Okay, I'm wiping that brush off, and I think I want to do like a greeny brownie look. So I'm gonna go in with dendritic. That's a hard word. This deep brown here on that same brush, and this is the Singe EO2. Sometimes especially if I just washed all my brushes and remember how long that fucking took me, like hours and hours, because I have a lot of brushes, I'm like, I'm just gonna try and use one brush for the whole look so I don't create a ton of dirty brushes again. So I'm just placing that on the outer corner, really keeping it down low. Then wiping off the brush, and I think I'm gonna go in with, let's swatch a couple. So we have Metamorphic, this like, I don't know, the tone of it, it's brown, but it has an undertone that like, it's not just a neutral brown. And then there's this like mossy greeny color called Slice, and this more mossy greeny color called Moss, and then this like yellowy orangey color called Agates, and I think I want to mix Metamorphic and Moss together. Let's see what that gives me. Sometimes when I'm mixing shadows, I test it on my hand to see what the mix makes. I feel like Metamorphic overtook Moss, so let's just try Moss on its own. Yeah, I think I just want to use Moss on its own to blend that out for now. So I'm just gonna put that on the edge lightly of that dendritic shade and slowly buff that out. Oh yeah, that is a good combo because the Moss shade has enough brown in it that it's not like completely transforming the dendritic shade, but it's still like meshing it into the Banded very nicely. I lost track of what I was saying. So yeah, I don't feel like an adult, so it's weird to be 36 because I don't feel like I fit in as a 36-year-old because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it's also weird to be 36 because it's like I don't feel like I should be alive right now. Like I feel like it's not real. Like I don't know, for anybody else out there who has dealt with like mental problems, bipolar is my main thing, PTSD, I'm not sure what you've been dealing with, but those are my main mental issues. And for anyone else out there who has struggled with like idealizing, unaliving, I don't know what words are okay to say on YouTube anymore, so I'm struggling. Like, for you, does it feel like it's weird that you're still here and almost like you shouldn't be here? Because it feels like that sometimes. I'm taking an EO3 with nothing on it and just buffing this out some more. You're just a Game Boy. I love the little ding in that song. It like scratches a part of my brain that makes me happy. It reminds me a lot of, God, what was his name? He had this album and it wasn't like super popular. I think it was called 8-Bit Heart. I'm going back in on the EO2 with Moss to just bring a little more of that moss color back in here. But what was his name? I'll pop it up on screen because it's escaping me now, but he wasn't, it was like an if you know you know situation like 10 years ago or something when he came out with this album, but he had like a whole video game theme album that was like so so raunchy but so fun, and it had like the sounds like that, and it just reminds me of that and makes me want to go listen to that one because it's like those video game sounds and music just tickles my brain in a good way. Okay, I think I want to go into, gosh, these names. Chalcedony, this like pastel-y green, and layer it on top of Banded in the inner corner to really get that nice and bright. And another thing about aging is like it's very natural in, I feel like, any species. Is there any species on Earth that doesn't age? I don't think so, but I'm not a scientist or anything like that, so there could be. But everybody ages, and it's weird to me that youth is so highly valued and focused on that people are literally terrified of visually aging. They're not even necessarily terrified of the things that develop in your elderly years, like dementia and all of that. Like, that's scary, definitely. But no, they're terrified of like seeing lines on their face and gray hair. That's terrifying to them, and that to me is like kind of weird and hard for me to understand. If you are terrified of visually aging and of looking visually your age, I'd love to hear your explanation for it and like what terrifies you about it, because I want to understand what's so scary about it other than the societal pressure to feel young and feel valuable and beautiful. Like, what is so scary about looking the age that you are. I'm unsure. I'm gonna take a little bit, just a teeny bit of Band-Aid, and just blend it into that moss a little bit. I think I want to layer crystallized and quartz in the inner half, and then take fire and one of the gold shades on the outer half. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna start with crystallized. Spray it. This is a more smooth shimmer. It's not as like sparkly, but it does have a gold flip to it. And I'm focusing this on the inner half of the lid. I'm gonna take a little bit of quartz, spray it, but also tap it off a little bit, and tap it over to kind of scatter some of that green sparkle over the top, give it a little more sparkle and dimension. That maybe I just need to do it with my finger. Oh yeah, that did it. I just want like a scattered sparkly green look. I don't want like intense like that. That was nice. Okay, then I'm gonna wipe off that brush. Damn it, this brush is falling apart. I have had it 2018. How many years is that? Is that 7 years? I've had this brush for like 7 years. It's from Esom, and it's finally falling apart, but it's like my favorite shader brush. And this fire shade is the same type of like smooth shimmer with a gold flip, and I thought it would blend really nicely from the gold green into the brown, especially if we layer like one of the sparkly golds on top. I'm going to take silica and gilded, just tap them on my finger a little bit to get some of the shimmers on there, and use that to kind of blend together the fire with the green and add some scattered sparkle. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Should have used my other finger. Yeah, that's dope. Okay, I'm gonna take my blending brushes and sort of just buff out the edges of the shimmery colors. And I'm gonna take Dendritic, I'm finally getting the hang of that one, and sort of bring it back a little bit. So I'm dying of heat. I think my camera is dying of heat. So I'm gonna take a little break, fan myself off, do my brows, and hopefully my camera will be rested and we can continue. Camera's had a chance to cool. My brows are done. I used my, just dropped my eyeliner. I used my NYX brow combo. Where's the fucking pencil? I just had it. I use the NYX, I don't even know if they carry this anymore. It's the Precision Brow Pencil in Auburn, then the Lift and Snatch in Auburn, and the Thick It, Stick It in Rich Auburn. So all NYX brow products, and I do love me some NYX brow. But now I'm gonna finish the lower lash line. So I'm gonna start with a neon green eyeliner. This is the Pastel Dream eyeliner in Magic Mint from LA Girl. I don't know why they call this a mint. It's definitely like a lime green. And I'm gonna put that right there, just on the inner part of the waterline. And then for the outer portion, I'm gonna take this metallic fiery color. This is from ColourPop. It's called Be My BB. And I'm gonna bring that to meet the lime green. And I'm just gonna take like a bronzy coppery and just blend them together. This is one from Urban Decay, the 24/7 Glide On eyeliners. Sometimes I love having a shimmer on the lower lash line, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start by going in with crystallized and layer that in the front. And then I'm gonna wipe that off and go in with Fire. And I'll probably layer on some dendritic as well, but I really want the metallics on the lower lash line today. And I did not spray because when I get setting spray on my waterline, it makes my eyes water even more than they normally would. And I already struggle with my eyes watering, so we're not doing that shit today. And then I'm wiping the brush off again and taking just a bit of dendritic and bringing that dark brown really tight on the outer corner of the lower lash. Really tight, focusing it just on the outer corner against the lashes, connecting it to the upper lash line. Okay, and then I'm gonna take that big fluffy brush that I was blending the top out with and just blend the bottom edges. And that is the eye look before lashes and mascara. For lips, I think I want to do Fiery Red. So I'm taking the NYX Kitten Heels Suede Lip Liner. And then I don't know if this is still a color in their line, but this is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in 440 Pleasure Seeker. It's a very bright orangey red. And it smells delicious. Like, it smells like a popsicle and I want to eat it. I feel like this highlight is nice and glowy and golden, but I want to step it up a notch, so hang on. I'm grabbing Ooze from Unearthly and Xander, and it's like a shifty green highlighter. And I feel like this is gonna add the something little extra that I'm looking for. Oh yeah, look at that! Just gonna put a little bit on the brow bone. Look at that. Because I kind of have been rambly and not really focused, I'm gonna do mascara and lashes, or at least try and do them while talking, because I feel like I owe you more of a conversation than the randomness that's been happening. So yes, I am very happy to have made it to 36 years old. I feel very proud. I feel like I've won. Like, I have beat my brain that wants me to not be here, and I have won and I am still here. So yes, that is awesome. That is amazing. And I think that birthdays are one of the most important holidays because, like, it's always so amazing that you're still here. And I really don't think anybody should feel ashamed for how old they are, or feel like they're not cool or not attractive or whatever it may be for how old they are. Because age is literally irrelevant to what kind of person you are, to how beautiful you are. Like, age does not matter. It matters in the context of like certain types of relationships and things like that, but as far as like how awesome of a person you are and how beautiful you are, it doesn't matter. You could be, you know, more beautiful in your 30s than you were in your 20s, and vice versa. It's just all dependent on the person. And I feel like more people should celebrate their age versus like being ashamed of their age, at least people within my own age group, because I know like so many people are like, ugh, I'm in my 30s, I'm such a grandma. Like, you're not a grandma. My grandma just died. Like, literally, she did, like a week ago. She was in her 90s. That's a grandma. That's awkward and weird. Why did I bring that up? God, I'm so awkward. I'm gonna put on some half lashes real quick. Where's my lash glue? That's glue. Here's lash glue. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, 30 is like, if you live till like your 90s, which is a pretty good run, I feel like, you know, your 30s is only a third of the way through your life. You have so much more life left to live. That is not grandma age. That is not old. You're not done for. You're not allowed to do cool things and have fun anymore. Lashes are always such a struggle for me, because my eyes are so round and it's hard to get the lashes to bend around them. I'm gonna do this off camera. Lashes are on, and this is the finished look with the Singe Agate Temptation palette. Again, stunning color story. I love the green brown look that I came up with like the pop of fieriness in there. So beautiful, and the quality is just as good as the Galactic Visitor. I'm so glad that they had a sale right around my birthday, so I was able to snag it on a deal. You know, my budget is kind of tight being on unemployment, so that was really fortunate, and I'm really excited to have that palette. And I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about the things I mentioned as far as aging and getting older. And you know, happy birthday to me. I'm 36. I made it. I'm here. So exciting. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see a birthday haul of all the makeup plus a few different goodies that I got for my birthday, that should be up on my channel already. So go ahead and check the description box, and I should also have it linked in the eye if you'd like to watch that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!